I'm going to make an educated guess about the last 2 to 3 days of your life. The scales haven't moved. Maybe they've gone up a little bit. Maybe you've had a bit of a bad weekend and you can't stop thinking about it or replaying it in your head. You've been good, but you haven't quite been rewarded with it on the scales or feeling any different. And you've started to wonder whether this whole diet thing is actually for you and whether you'll actually, lose the weight that you said that you wanted to lose. Now, you're probably not looking for more information right now. That's all at your fingertips on ChatGPT and Google. You're probably just looking for a reason and permission to quit. And you've probably had this exact conversation with yourself before as well, which is exactly why I just want to steal just a few minutes of your time, probably no longer than 5, because by the end of this video, you will understand exactly why you feel the way that you do right now and what to do in the next 48 hours to make sure that this doesn't become another fail attempt, because I'm sure you don't want that. I'm also going to share something later that most coaches, I feel, probably won't say because it doesn't sell as well as urgency does, but it might be the most important thing that you do need to hear today. So please stay with me. But first, I want you to think about something because this is the part that I don't think anyone ever says out loud. I want you to think about the most recent diet that you quit. It could be a year ago, 2, 3, or even 5 years ago. Where would you be right now if you just kept going? Not perfectly, because we don't need to be perfect, but you just didn't give up. You just held the line and refused to hand this problem to a future version of yourself. The honest answer and harsh reality is, for most of you watching this, you'd probably be significantly further along the way you are today. Fitter, probably feel stronger, more confident, close fitting, better. But instead, you're back at the same weight with this big, uphill battle that you've got to face. And here's the harsh reality. Every time that you do quit, you hand the same problem to a future version of you. The person that's a bit tired and can't be bothered and disappointed that you've got to deal with it right now. That's a direct version of you who gave up those months and years ago. So if you do quit right now, you'll be having this exact conversation with yourself again in the future because your history tells you that at some point you'll want to probably lose weight again. So don't hand it to that person one more time. You've been in this loop long enough to know what it probably feels like. When you quit, you go back to the old version of your life that you were once fed up of. So make a promise to yourself that you're not going to do that again. And that leads me to something that you've probably not heard from a coach before. And that's that you are allowed to not be in full throttle right now. I've worked with many women over the past 10 years who are at their lowest point when they're knackered, frustrated, and let's be honest, ready to sack it all off, did exactly this. They dropped down a gear. Not from looking after themselves, but from weight loss at all costs, essentially. If you're almost frustrated and exhausted from trying, if you've got a bit of diet fatigue, I'm here to tell you that it's okay to stop tracking if you're tracking calories. It's okay to stop weighing yourself every single morning if it's causing you to get frustrated. It's okay to come away from the deficit and eat at maintenance for a little while, just to take the pressure off entirely. I call this dropping down into gear 1. Not quitting, like I say, not looking after yourself. It's just not going all in, just doing what's manageable for you right now. You're still eating reasonably, you're managing stress, but you're just keeping things steady until you're ready to go again. But accept the one thing that you cannot do is quit entirely. The biggest mistake women make when it comes to weight loss and fat loss is not being able to distinguish between I need to stop and I need to lower the intensity for a little while. If you drop down a gear, but you hold the line and you keep your head in the game, you win. You don't break the habits that have taken you so long to build. You refill the tank, so to speak, so you can come back stronger. But if you do quit, you regain the weight all again and you lose the habits and you almost reset the clock. And the next time that you have to start, you have another failed attempt under your belt and less self-belief that comes with that and less trust that you can actually do it. The women that do succeed long-term aren't the ones that have never had a wobble, believe me. They're the ones that learn to slow down, drop down into first gear and do the little things that they can do to stay in the game, to keep going. Every single woman I've coached over the past 10 years, I've wanted to quit at multiple points throughout their journey. You are not unique and struggling right now, and I don't mean that to undermine if you are. You are not the exception. You are exactly where every single successful person that you see as transformations on Instagram or whatever has been. But the difference between you and the women who have lost the weight and kept it off is based on this one decision right now. And before I give you something practical, I want you to sit with this one thing for maybe a second. Time is going to pass anyway, and that, unfortunately, is just a fact. The next 6 months of your life will go by regardless. And you can either spend it going in circles, quitting, restarting, or you can spend them slowly and boringly, working towards the person that you want to become. Someone said to me the other day that I want the body I want right now. And I said, well, you can't, but you can have the behaviors right now. So it's thinking more like that. But either way, it's going to be 6 months from now. You're going to be older. The question is whether you're going to be 6 months close to your goal or 6 months essentially a little bit further away from it. So here's the practical bit, because just keep going, I'm sure we can agree, isn't the best advice. I do not want you to commit to staying on track for 6 months. That's way too big. It's way too overwhelming. I would struggle to stay consistent for 6 months every single day. All I want you to do is to commit to winning the now, winning the day, if you like. Bear with me with this analogy, but think about if you was to eat an elephant. Not that you would, but you don't do it all in one go, right? You do it one bite at a time. For fat loss, this means winning your next meal. It means getting protein in at the next meal. It means bouncing back as quickly as possible. If you ever felt like you had a little minor setback, that is it. That is your task moving forward. Bounce back into routine, or bounce back ability, as I like to call it. String enough moments together, moments where you don't quit, where you do follow through, and you start to prove that you are the person that can actually do this. You can't think your way through fat loss, unfortunately. You have to just do it, as blunt as that sounds, because time is literally going to pass anyway. So use it, or you can be the person that just naturally watches it pass. And that's what this video is pretty much all about. Remember when I said that there was something that most coaches won't tell you because it doesn't sell as well as urgency? This is it. And it's not particularly groundbreaking, I know, but you don't have to be all in right now. You just have to not quit. You can drop down a gear, give yourself permission to do that, come off the deficit if you need to, take the pressure off, but stay in the game, because the women that get the results aren't the ones that are 100% all in every single day for months on end. They typically don't last very long. They're the ones who never stopped completely that are successful. Right before you give up, or there's a moment where you decide what the next 6 months of your life is going to look like, as deep as it sounds. That's your assignment. Win the day. Win the next day. That's it. Just win the day. Okay? So if you found this video at the right time, hit subscribe, because I'm going to be beginning making videos like this every single week. And if you want to find out how I can help you build a system that means that you never have to start again, the link to book a call is in the description below. Thanks for watching. I shall catch you on the next one.